And I'm Shelly Miller.
And I'm Laurie Meehan.
And welcome to Pass the Glass. We have a lot to go over today, girls.
We do.
Yes. Yeah.
A little bit ago, I posted a post on Facebook and said, do you make your bed or do you just keep it all rumpled up? I don't know about you guys, and it's funny because I get out of bed. I fly out of bed because I'm already late because I've hit snooze I don't know how many times by now. You guys wonder why I'm always late. But I've hit snooze. I have a pattern that I follow every morning. So I grab the sheets, the cat flies out of the bed, the dog flies off the bed, and I have to make the bed in order to have a decent day. Then I put my little slippers on and I run the dog outside. And I hope to get to the dog first outside before I have to run to the bathroom. I don't know about you guys, but that is my morning ritual routine every morning. You have to make that bed. It's like starting a fresh day. And then if I go and I don't make the bed and say, maybe I was homesick that day and I didn't make the bed, do you know that I feel like the day was a total loss and that I won't get a good night's sleep?
Really?
Is that strange? Because I'm not getting into a fresh made bed that has the sheets straightened out, the comforter straightened out, the pillows fluffed. Just how weird is that?
It's not weird. That's how I am.
Okay.
I make my bed every morning.
Every morning.
Every morning. It doesn't matter if I'm home for the day or if I go to work. I make the bed every single day.
Okay, so I'm not weird.
The cat helps me, so sometimes it takes longer than other times.
So I'm not weird.
Well, you're weird, but
I feel the love in this room today. How about you, Laurie?
I'm all over the spectrum. Yes, I'll get up, make it right away, if I'm going somewhere in the morning. Yes, I'll make it at like 11 or 12 o'clock if I'm just at home. And yes, it'll be unmade until I go to bed sometimes.
Really? It doesn't bother you?
It does not bother me. I mean, it does. I won't say it doesn't bother me, but there's sometimes, I'm like doing other things and I keep saying I'm gonna make the bed, or most of the time it's when I want to change the sheets.
How often do you change your sheets?
Usually once a week.
Really?
Yeah.
I know some people, and they posted this, they change their sheets every day.
Oh,
along
that's
with the
ridiculous. Once a week, I'm fine with.
I wouldn't have time to do that, nor do the laundry, nor do, you know what I mean, nor do you really probably have enough sheets that I like. And I have my favorite sheets that cling to my bed and the corners don't fly off because I feel like I'm in a cocoon by the time by the time my sleep is over and I get up in the morning, I'm wrapped around that sheet.
Yep.
You just bought
I bought new sheets. I bought a new comforter, a whole bed set. And the sheets, I was so excited because the sheets have this elastic. It's about this wide all the way around. And it was really difficult to put it on the bed because, especially when you're doing it by yourself, you get this corner on and you go down there to do that corner and this one pops off. And they have tags, luckily, that say top or bottom.
Yeah.
So that because it's a king size bed, it's almost square, so it's hard to tell. And with all that elastic, it doesn't shake out like a regular sheet would. But
So you like these sheets better?
Oh, I like these sheets.
And
yes.
where'd you get them?
It was hard to.
Amazon.
Yeah.
Really? Yeah. See.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, we love our Amazon.
We love our
Yes,
Amazon.
We love our Amazon.
Yes.
But the best sheets, and they're so silky soft. They're beautiful. It's just wonderful. It was a really good night's sleep last night too. It might have been the wine, but
believe it or not, I found, was it last Christmas maybe, I think, I found a set of sheets at Walmart on clearance, and they were like hotel grade, like really really nice and soft for like $25. Wow. And they're my favorite set. So nice.
You gotta have your
soft.
favorite sheets.
Yeah.
No sheets.
yeah.
And then this came to mind. This is funny. Every time I make the bed, I'm not one of those people who you lay it down and then you go on one side and pull the top sheet I'm talking about. I'm at the bottom and I roll it all up and I'll just go and throw it up there and then I tuck it in, sometimes, when I would be helping my mom and dad make their beds, after cleaning and stuff, my dad gets the biggest kick out of that because I'm at the bottom of the bed, I got the sheet thing and I just go, it flies up and just lands and I just fix it, but I
You
can't.
mean the covers?
Yeah, just the top sheet,
sheet.
you know. Instead of like, okay, just pulling it and then walking over, doing this side, walking on that side, pulling it down, tucking it in.
I
You
used
know,
to do
I just
that.
throw it up, it lands, I straighten it out, and that's it. You know.
I used.
I mean,
to,
I tuck it in the bottom, obviously. Yeah.
yeah, right.
Mhm.
I used to do that, but now my bed is too tall.
You
And
can't reach.
I can't. I can barely reach. I have to get a running jump to get into
And where do you land, Shelly?
Short girl problems. What can I say?
That's funny. Do you guys do like the whole cup corners?
I don't tuck.
The hospital corners?
Yeah.
I try.
My dad calls it the military corners.
Yeah,
You know, where you like fold it corner, tuck it in, then put it down.
I don't tuck because I like to be able to pull it out and wrap my feet up
Yeah.
and stuff.
Sometimes I find that when I don't do it tight enough, that the sheet gets wrapped around my legs, and then I feel again like I'm in a cocoon and I can't get out. Do you ever get the sheet
I've
to
gotten,
wrap around?
Yeah, I've gotten rolled up in it like a taco.
Talk about.
But you know, the hardest thing I think is to fold these damn sheets.
The fitted sheets.
No, I
No,
just
not
go,
the fit. Well, I guess
That's
that would be the fitted.
sheets
Yeah,
That's gathered, yeah.
Yeah,
not
no.
not the straight sheet.
No, you just kind of fold it in half and then go, and it's done.
And
It's
roll
pretty
it.
amazing. Yes. Yep.
She's on a roll tonight.
It works.
You also got a new comforter.
I got a new comforter. It's beautiful. And the cats love it, so that's a bonus
I
too.
know it has to be animal approved.
Yeah. Yeah, they were all sleeping in a little semicircle on the other side of the bed. When I woke up this morning, I was like, "Aw, they all love it."
You know what drives me crazy though? When you put new sheets on a bed. Okay, you don't have this problem because you don't have a cat, but you probably would. They have claws, of course, and when they get in your bed, and then they're doing this, okay, then the sheet sticks to the claws, and it starts pulling the threads out of nothing. It drives me crazy. I get their little claws and I pull them out. I'm like, no. They don't care. They don't care.
Yeah, no.
They don't care.
They do what they want.
Now the dog's like, mom's laying down. I'm going into the next pillow, nosedive, and
Yeah.
she's good.
Yeah.
So I'm all about that.
Ellie does her little circle sometimes, you know.
She'll do
Or
that.
she does do, every once in a while, she'll do the whole, like she's trying to make her bed before she lays down. Like sometimes they gather their blankets together if they're laying on their little pillows and stuff. But normally she just flops down like, thank you. I'm ready
And
to go to sleep.
we think it's normal to sleep with our animals, but people don't. People get grossed out.
No,
with
I
that.
know. People don't, some people don't like their animals on, you know, any kind of furniture, which is fine.
Yeah.
Because, like, I was just talking to my cousin tonight, this afternoon, and said that same exact thing. Like, you know, they need to get the carpets replaced, and she needs to get new furniture because, like, you know, they've got the leather couches and stuff, and over the years, I mean, their animals are on there. And if they're chasing each other and they're bouncing off of it, you know, and it just, you could catch something that just gets destroyed. So, you know, you got to make that decision. But
Whether you have a family friendly house of animals or not.
Yeah.
So
do we want to tell? We got to tell them what we're drinking today too.
Oh yes.
I'll go first. First, I started. It's Prophecy Rosé. It's a French rosé, and it's a dry wine. And the girls like sweet, so we all bought something different. But they tried it,
This
and they
won't
both
stand.
puckered up.
you did pucker up because that was so dry and so sweet. It was like a sweetheart.
Yes, probably. Yeah.
And we've got Behringer Pink Moscato. And then we also have, for a backup, we have a peach Moscato.
The back.
Isn't that does that have any kind of like effervescence to it?
Yeah,
Yeah, because
yeah,
it's
it
a
was
bubbly. Yeah.
It was a bubbly, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, a fizzy wine.
It was.
Yeah.
So while we're on to bedroom frolic and merriment, how often do you get your kind of? I can't say you're kind of removed from this because you aren't, but you are. But like we're not working, so we're kind of removed from this. But how often does an average person sleep? Like, do you get
long?
8 hours? Do you
Oh,
get
gosh.
6 hours?
I rarely ever get 8 hours unless I'm up really, really late. You know, whether I was working and you know on the weekends or even now. But usually, I mean, 6 to 7 is good for me.
You can function.
Oh yeah, anything before I would be able to function like you know in 5 hours sleep. But then, just I guess the older I got, the more I just needed at least 6 hours to really feel good and fine. 5 hours, I'm a little rough around the edges in the morning,
Back a long time ago when I worked nights and my kids were young, and during the summer they would want to go to the beach or want to go to the zoo or something when I got home from work at 7 o'clock in the morning, and we would get ready and go, and I would be up all day, and then I would go home and get an hour or two of sleep, and then I would stop and get a 5-hour energy and go to work and work all night, and then go home, and it would happen again. They'd want to go somewhere, and dumb mom would say yes. So I lived on a couple hours of sleep and 5-hour energy drinks for a long time.
Oh my goodness!
And now
you had to be wired.
Oh yeah, I was not my right self.
And you are now, because why?
I don't know.
We have wine, that's why.
Yeah, wine makes it all right. Now I get probably usually about 5.
Really? And you can function on 5?
Yeah. I have, well, you figure, I'm up until at least 11 most nights, and I get up at 5, and, by the time I go to sleep, it's usually, at least a half hour at least after I lay down. But
that's my biggest problem is
falling asleep, shutting off your mind.
So
how do you shut your mind off?
It's hard.
How do you shut your mind off after stress? After cheers. After a long day, after your boss has been on your back, after your kids have been driving you crazy, after the teacher has called you and said, hey, we need to have a conference, or after your husband and you maybe got into an argument, or your significant other, what have you, or your family. How do you shut your mind down to get a good night's sleep?
What I do is stretches. I learned when after I had a surgery, and I had to do stretches to try and get my muscles back to where they belonged, that doing these stretches really relaxed you. If you do the deep breathing while you're doing it and just start to mellow out, it really does help. I just lay in bed and do them. And it really helps. And I do them in the morning too, just before I get out of bed, and it's calming. It's kind of like doing yoga or something.
Well, they say every day you are supposed to meditate. You're supposed to at least meditate for 10 to 15 minutes before you start your day, and then you should meditate 10 to 15 minutes when going to sleep. I'd be afraid I would meditate and wouldn't get out of the meditative state and not wake up in the morning. That would be me, but silly me. But I would just think that it would relax you, don't get me wrong. And there is plenty of apps on your phones that you can download.
Yeah, that's what I use.
Meditative music.
Well, I can't do music for some reason. It has to be like a sound.
Like the ocean or something.
Like the ocean, they have those crickets.
They have those drums or those vases that they put the wand in. Somebody who's watching, please tell me what I'm talking about.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Do you?
I don't know what it's called though.
It's not a drum, but it's drumming is what they call it, and it's supposed to totally relax you, put you in a meditative state, shut your mind down, and And as somebody told me today, in fact, a friend of mine that was on the show earlier, she told me that you just have to keep reminding yourself in order to shut out people that are vampire drains on your nerves, or you know what I mean? You have to remember to say, not my monkeys, not my circus, and just walk away and make sure that you are backtracking and you're not taking over their sympathy, their sorrow, their this, their that. You just have to remove yourself from that person who's draining your energy.
That's hard to do.
It is very hard to do.
I count sometimes and concentrate, like in my head, concentrate on like seeing the actual numbers, because that'll take your mind off of anything else but that, and it's not anything that's going to stress you out, but I always say my bedtime prayer, so then I'll just have it on repeat, I actually just try to concentrate on one thing.
Right.
If I don't have that any kind of noise, I mean, I actually have both. I'll have the sound machine on, and crazy as it sounds, it's called blizzard wind.
Oh, geez.
It's just,
Like,
it's
that's
almost
not
like a
coming
white
in
noise.
a couple months. Yeah.
It's almost like a white noise,
Yeah.
or like the waterfall, where it's not a trickling water, it's just a heavy waterfall, you know, something like that. But anything that my mind can concentrate on just one thing, you know, I cannot. I'm sometimes I think like, how would I not be able to have some sort of sound to fall asleep to? You know, how long would it take me to fall asleep if I didn't have something to listen to?
Right.
Do you fall asleep to a TV on?
No.
No?
No TVs in my bedroom.
I do HGTV, and sometimes I'll watch a whole show. Other times I don't even remember seeing the beginning. You know, it depends on how tired I am and whether the cats leave me alone or want to snuggle. So yeah.
Sometimes, most of the time, it's not the sound of a TV. It's like if it's in the dark, the lights out. It's like the fluorescent light come from the TV.
Okay.
That would keep me awake. So it's not necessarily sound. So I probably could and have fallen asleep with the TV on, you know. But to have something to listen to going to bed, no, I think that would keep me up. That's why I don't. I mean, I have the cable hooked up in my bedroom just in case I ever decide, but I don't have a TV in there.
So don't you ever go to bed and you're laying there and you're staring at the ceiling, counting the sheep jumping over the bed, and you can't fall asleep?
Yeah, I mean, I usually have some sort of book on the nightstand too that I read. And most of the time, if I'm tired and I can't fall asleep, that'll put me to sleep, whether it's a good book or not. Sometimes, if it's really good, then I'm, you know, in bad shape because I keep going from, you know, chapter to chapter. But most of the time, you know, I can pick up a book and I can read a chapter or two and it gets me sleepy and I close it down.
It makes
and I
your
go to
eyes
sleep.
tired. Yeah.
It does make your eyes tired.
Yeah.
I used to read so much. Now I have to have these in order to.
Well,
do
so
reading.
do I, you know, but, you know,
It's
still.
like your eyesight's gone.
Yeah.
Do you do audible books?
No.
No?
No, I have, but I
They-
still like that
It's
book in hand.
That's what I was going to say. People still they did some type of survey, and I'm not sure which survey company did the survey, but people feel an accomplishment while they're reading a book and have that book in their hand than an audible book. They don't feel like they're getting the most out of that book because they don't have it in their hand and they're not flipping the page.
What about a Kindle? I wonder how they feel about those.
They didn't say too much. They wanted the hard copy.
Yeah. I would
Oh,
say
I love my Kindle.
for me, yeah, it's the aspect of me reading it and my imagination forming the characters and the story, envisioning what I see. And then when you're listening to someone else's voice and they're describing them and how their tone of, you know, their
Throws
tone
you
of
off.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's like, okay, well, that's not exactly how I envision this person, you know? But like 50 Shades of Grey. You know, I mean, like I envision him a little bit different. So
Then when he came out,
I was
for
a
the
little
movie.
disappointed at first, but then as you watch, you know, the first, you know, series, the first show, I thought it was perfect for it. You know,
Really?
Yeah.
You liked the movie?
oh, I loved them, and not just, you know, because it was about sex, but I thought it was about the romance. You know, so, you know, I'm a romantic at heart. What do you say? You know, but no, I really did. You know, because it was very interesting.
I think so too. I liked them too.
You liked the book or the movie
I like
better?
both. The book was more descriptive. There was a lot more content in the book because you know the book was much, you know, had a lot more detail in it. And so it was they skipped over a lot in the movies.
Yeah, they usually do.
So
But I like the movies too.
I like the movies.
Yeah.
It's just different. It's
See, in talking with a bunch of different girls, they didn't like the movie because there was a lot left out, a lot to the imagination left out. So, in putting movies together from books, I don't know. Do you like to watch the movie instead? I think sometimes when they're doing movies, a lot of explaining gets left out about how they're jumping from.
right, and that's with any book. You figure Stephen King. The books are so much better than the movies. The movies are good, but the books are so much better because he is such a good descriptive writer that it makes it better.
Here's another example. So I had to stop reading like horror books. Like I was like
they give you nightmares at
plowing through Dean Koontz years ago, and there was one where some scientist inserts some sort of microchip into humans that turns them into like demons running around or whatever, and there's only about 3 people who, I forget what the name of the book was, but there's like 3 people who are left, and they all find each other, and they're hiding in this house, and the one guy, they're in like the kitchen or so whatever, and he is walking past the window, and he happens to look out, and he sees one of the demons or animals out in the yard, and he kind of looks, and he hits the floor underneath the window, and he's laying there, and all of a sudden he hears above us, and then I'm like, boom, shutting. I had a nightmare about it that night. I mean, I finished the book, but maybe now, that was years ago, maybe now I can start reading them again, but I had a nightmare about that.
So it got to you.
So it got to me, and I know it was fiction, but I'm like, that's why I like reading, because my imagination just runs wild.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm reading this, and my heart's pounding because it's going tap tap tap. I'm like, oh my god, it's right above his head. No. You know?
Oh
yeah,
my God.
seriously. And like you say about the movies, you know, when you're like, you know, the girl's gonna go walk upstairs and see who's upstairs, you know, and you're like, don't go up there, they're gonna get killed, right. You know. You know, I don't know if I told you this story, but when I lived in Stowe, my townhouse, the door was open a little bit when I came home from work, and I'm like, oh boy, you know. So I kind of went around everything, and I stood at the bottom of the steps and like, no, not yet, you know, to go up to the second level, but nobody was there. But I'm like, that's when you think, why am I going to walk up the stairs if somebody's waiting for me there? But that's the imagination, and that's what you get from movies and books. And that's, you know, I like how my imagination can come out in the books. I mean, I don't mind audible books, you know. I did have a lot. I got some for Christmas probably, I don't know, about 10 years ago. And I would listen to them as I would, you know, travel, like to see my family in Cincinnati. So, but getting back to sleeping, yeah, that helps. Picking up that book,
picking up the book and exhausting your eyeballs and your mind at the same time.
How about you?
Oh, it depends, because I will put the TV on at night, and then you guys know me. I love my vampires and my werewolves and all that stuff. So, you know, I was watching Vampire Diaries, and then I went into now I'm into Legacy, and before that was something with the Michelsons. I can't remember what that was called. Drawing a blank right now, but I'm into that. So each segment, thank goodness. And I'm one of those people that can watch Netflix and binge watching.
That's the problem.
That's the problem.
Yes.
So I could go into 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning going, oh my God, what time is it? I'm looking, I'm like, how did that time get away from me? Yes. But when you start binge watching, like on Netflix, you can't stop.
No.
And you get through a whole series, and then you're depressed and bummed because like, oh.
You know, I just got through Lucifer and Schitt's Creek, and I'm like,
how was Lucifer?
Oh, it's phenomenal.
It is. Oh
really?
Gosh,
yes. I mean, like romance, comedy, you know, drama, all rolled up in one.
So and easy on the eyes too.
Ooh, yeah. Ooh, yeah. He's got the British accent, you know, and then the other, you know, Detective Dan's nice on the eyes. And it's just I love all the characters. It's a really, really good show.
It is. It's
you know, really.
You've seen all this, really?
I've seen it multiple times.
Isn't that terrible? It's like you watch a show, and then all of a sudden there's no more that you can watch. They haven't rolled out the next, you know, the next series, and you're like, all right,
now you gotta
go
wait
back and watch it again.
Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. Did you ever watch that?
I have not.
No.
That's really good. I love that. That should be. I don't know. Probably not until January. Yeah, I buzzed through that season probably by February of this year. You know, so true. Well, I don't know. Yeah,
I'm a Shameless watcher, and the last season of Shameless was supposed to be now, but they're not releasing it until they just started recording and it's not going to be out until sometime like maybe February.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So I'm sad, but I mean, it extends the time because this is their last season. I don't know what I'm going to do.
I know.
Do you guys think that because Netflix is huge and Hulu's huge and IMDb and all that, do you think that movie theaters, I know they're taking hits now, but do you think that they're going to be a thing of the past?
I don't know that they'll be a thing of the past because I think
It's a
people,
date night.
Yeah, and people like to go and watch new movies. And, well, we both know someone who goes and watches them multiple times. Like, the one movie that this person went to was, I think they went 15 times to go see the first 50 Shades of Grey.
Oh wow.
15 times she went to go see it. At the regular theater, not once it went to the cheap theater or anything.
Wow.
She went 15 times, and I'm like, oh my God.
What did you not get the first 14?
Right, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, every time somebody would say, do you want to go see it? She'd say, oh, I love that movie. I'll go again. I don't know.
I don't understand.
I don't either. I mean, I liked the movie, but once I saw it once, I figured, well, I'll watch it again when it's on Netflix or something.
So that must have been like a hobby for her or something.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, when
What
you
else would it
guys,
be?
when you've got downtime and it's the weekend, do you binge watch TV? Do you have hobbies that you get to? What do you guys do?
Kind of all the above, I guess. I mean, just depends what time of year it is, and I mean, you know, I've been obviously I just said binge watch Lucifer and Schitt's Creek, you know, so and Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, but I do like I'm like in the wintertime. At Friday nights, you know, I'll just go and look in the cupboards, look in the freezer, look in the fridge, and I like to just create some sort of dinner that I've never made just out of things that I've learned. Or like I'm trying this year to take each of my cookbooks and like finally read through them and start using them. They're not just for decoration, you know.
We're gonna be cooking this weekend.
Yes, we
I
are.
can't wait.
Yes, and we might share with the friends that we have on Facebook.
I can't wait to make this deep dish Chicago pizza. You've seen it shared on my page. We are so going to make that. And I may even have a video of you swearing at all the ingredients going in.
Okay.
I could just see you doing that. But I don't know, cooking to me is a hobby. I love to cook. I love to create. I'm Polish and Slovakian.
National Pierogi Day.
And today's National yes. So it's like
Mhm.
I love to cook all of the foods our grandmothers made. And
I have a Slovak
Halushkis
cookbook.
and stuff.
do you?
We should look at.
I love to make that stuff, and it's like you don't see it around here anymore. I mean, yeah, there's pierogi stands that pop up here and there. Some of the churches do the pierogi stands, and I think like Youngstown and Warren, Trumbull County, we're the only ones that know about pierogies around this area. Nobody else knows what that is,
Right? It's the same as cookie tables.
Yes.
Cookie tables at weddings are not a thing in other states.
They're not.
My brother and sister-in-law, when they got married in Cincinnati, they had a special room that had closed doors and it said Youngstown cookie table. Do
How
not
cool.
enter until doors are open.
How cool.
You know?
Really?
And people were like, they had all heard about it. You know, and when my sister got married years ago, she had a cookie table. So those who were there, some different friends, they knew about it. So they're like, ooh.
They don't do cookies.
And they walk in there and they're just all so excited,
Yes.
you know?
Yeah.
I think even when you cross the line into PA or into Virginia or West Virginia or whatever the surrounding states are, nobody does cookie tables.
Yeah. At my wedding in PA, we were one of the few that had a cookie table there. My son's getting married in a couple weeks, and I'm baking cookies for his cookie table. So excited.
Nice. And of course, it's going to be at a winery. How about that? We'll just have to go and crash the party.
There you go. Just the wedding is at the
Just
winery.
the wet. Oh, I see.
The reception is somewhere else.
Oh, we'll have to follow behind.
Yeah.
Tinted windows, dark car.
Yeah, there you go.
But yeah, I think we are the only ones that we set the trends. We even set the trends for music in this area. She comes pulling into the parking lot today, and I'm like, oh my God. On two wheels. And she's jamming a Def Leppard. She's like, oh, you should have seen me at Motley Crue. I'm like, no, Vision did not want you to see.
It's my mood music.
It is.
You know?
Everybody has mood music. And you remember you were saying back in the day when you would clean house.
Yeah, when we were kids, Saturday mornings we were, we had our chores just to, dust, run, sweep, or whatever. And my mom she still have the console stereo, with she would play the records, and the Bee Gees and Olivia Newton-John, Jesus Christ Superstar, Elvis. So, and the radio was always on, back in the day, back in the 70s. And so that we, I know I can speak for myself. I don't know about my brother and sister, but I mean, I have a love of music because of them.
Right.
And so just going through the years and I love, the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s were iffy for me, but and doesn't matter what genre it is.
Right.
I like it.
Do you ever hear a song that maybe you and a significant ex, what used to be your song way back when, and then it just bothers you and you're like, oh,
yes. when Lucifer and Chloe are at the piano, and she says, if I make you vulnerable, and then I'll be vulnerable with you. That damn song was his wedding song that he chose. I'm like, did you have to ruin their moment on Lucifer with that song?
Aww. Really?
Yes. But I'm like, I got over it because the scene, is much better. But yeah, that's the only.
Does it ever bother you though when you hear that song? Does it ever bring back those feelings, those emotions?
When I haven't heard that song in such a long time, but when I heard it, I didn't recognize it at first, and it's just a melody, and she starts singing, and it's a different version of it. But I knew it may have taken me, because I watched it over again a couple times. It may have taken me 2 or 3 times, but then I was like, that's where I heard that song. But at first I was like, damn, you ruined that, that scene. But then after I'm like, okay, whatever. That first initial thing usually gets me. And then, I mean, it's in the past, and I leave it in the past, So, I mean, I don't carry baggage with me. I deal with it and leave it go. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, okay. It's okay. Almost every song can have more than one special time for you. So all you have to do, if it's a song that you shared with someone that you're no longer with, you just move it to another memory. Because, you can transfer, it's allowed. It's a rule.
You're allowed to do that. We'll let you.
Yeah. So you just have to take that song that you don't like because of somebody else and put it to another memory that makes it a happy one.
Yeah.
So that's what I do because I have a lot that were unhappy ones.
Right.
And, I just have to move them to something good. And almost with every song, because I've been around a lot of music.
Yes, you have.
So it's easy to be able to figure out a better memory to go with songs. But that's probably one of the best ways to go down memory lane is listening to music.
Okay, I'm bursting without telling this story because this is going to be a fun
one.
Go.
Okay, here we go.
All right, so going back to how my mom and dad listened to music, and it was always on the radio and whatever. I think I was in my mid-30s by the time I realized what this song was about. But I don't know. I think maybe me and my mom were in the car, but we're just listening, and the song "Afternoon Delight." Sky rockets in flight, and I just be singing it, and then I'm like, wait a second, what is this really? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, I was in the back seat of your vehicle when I was like 10 singing this song, and you still let me sing it, She's like, you didn't know what you were singing. Afternoon Delight, having sex in the afternoon, and I'm like 10 years old singing it in the back seat of their car, she's you let me go. And then Undercover Angel, I used to sing that song, and then Hot Child in the City. I'm like, you let me sing all of these songs because you had no idea what you were singing. Why would I tell you? You were just enjoying yourself.
Have you ever? Okay, we'll have to get to that one because I'm not sure what that one meant. But still to this day, never mind. And have you ever had a song, especially when you were younger, and you changed the lyrics Okay.
Because
Like,
you thought they were something different.
yes.
Yes.
And
Yes.
there was, is Eric Clapton Lay Down Sally? I thought it was Way Down South. So I would always be singing, and to this day, whenever we hear that come on the radio, we'll sing Way Down South. Because it's just something, it was a learned song, and it's just something that you had fun with. And then when you realize what the real words were, you're like, oh, damn. Yeah, I was way off on that one.
Mhm.
But yeah, no, I mean, there's so many childhood memories of different. I've been in music my whole life. My family has been in music our whole lives. So music was a part of our go-to, your good memories, your bad memories, your holidays, your parties, your whatever it was. It's your feel-good music.
Right.
It's amazing how a song, if you're having a bad day, and a song can just put you in such a good mood, like you today.
Yeah.
On two wheels.
Yeah. I graduated from like AC/DC, and then I met Metallica,
Oh geez.
and the guitar and those drums just get that endorphins running, and then it's like, I mean, 80s rock, man. There's nothing like it. There's nothing like it. And, you hear that guitar at the beginning of Kickstart My Heart, and I'm like, crank it up, And I'm coming down Wake Avenue, and the younger kids are probably like, who's that old chick jamming in the car, thinking she's cool jamming. I'm like, I don't care.
But growing up, I mean, those
It
are the
makes you
bands
feel
we
good.
knew. Aerosmith was my favorite. Loved Aerosmith, Def Leppard, Poison, Guns N' Roses. All those rock bands that you don't hear that in this day and age. There's something there's something missing, just not the same that it used to be.
Yeah.
So yeah, you miss that a lot.
Yeah.
I know, at least I do.
Yeah. I mean, I still try and enjoy the current music too. I mean,
You have to.
and I still try and listen to, there's a lot of pop music that I'm not too fond of, but I still listen to, the pop stations or wherever on iHeartRadio or whatever, just because I want to just be still in, the current stage of music.
Right.
So,
Stay up with the times.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
That's what I was looking for.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So, but country, I love country. I love, rock and roll. I love oldies. But you said it. I'm an 80s chick through and through.
Hairband on the way.
Yeah.
Yep. I was tortured into listening to country music for about 8 years because
Tortured. That's how you met me, and you loved every minute
I
of it.
did meet you that way. Well, did I know you before that?
No.
I thought I did. Okay. Anyway, I got to the point where I could tolerate country music, and sometimes every once in a while I'll even turn on a country station if we're driving, and we did that the other day. I had to turn on a country station because I couldn't find anything else. But
I had to.
yeah, well, you gotta have music.
We were just scanning, yeah.
Yeah, but if I'm a rock and roll girl, so I in the beginning it was torture. It was horrible torture to listen to country music.
And then it grew on you.
And then it sort of grew on me. Well, country got less twangy and more country rock, too. That's the difference. I don't like the old twangy stuff. I can't do that.
Really?
Yeah. No.
Still, a lot of it has crossed over.
Yeah.
There's a lot of crossover artists.
Right.
Now, so.
Exactly.
So, yeah, no. But it's funny that you'll hear a song and you'll tune it up and bottoms up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Speaking of crossover artists, Hootie. I loved Hootie.
Love Hootie and the Blowfish.
And then when he went to be Darius Rucker, he turned into a jerk.
We were at
Really?
We worked at a country station, and we met him behind the scenes. And I had a jacket on, if I remember this correctly, and the guy wanted to know what was in my jackets because we were backstage with Hootie.
Right.
And I'm sitting there, go, it's my phone. He goes, let me check your phone. I'm like, I'm not giving you my phone. He wanted to see if we were recording or doing anything.
Right.
But we're standing back there with press, passes the whole 9 yards, and my hands are in my pockets. And he's like, what do you got in your pockets? It's like, are you kidding me? I found that really odd, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Remember I
and
told
they
you?
stayed.
Rucker was doing this.
Darius
His-
Rucker, yeah. His people.
His people.
Oh.
Yeah.
But he stayed in his tour bus until the opening band was done, off the stage, packed up, and they had announced him, and then he came out of his tour bus, and they made a pathway, and he walked right through the middle of his people up onto the stage, like, Meadville, Pennsylvania was going to mob him or something.
Well, you don't know what to expect out there. People, people can be different, but and each artist has their own set of rules, so you got to follow by what they want.
But so many of the other ones were so cool.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, though, it's a difference. It's a different time now because these poor artists can't tour.
It is. It's a sad time right now. Back when I was young, I had a friend who worked for a sound and light company, and they did all the sound and lighting for Blossom. And so I got tickets and backstage passes.
Nice.
So we went to a lot of concerts and got to meet a lot of the bands. A lot of the ones you were talking about.
Met Kelly Pickler. She's a sweetheart.
Really?
Yeah, she's really nice.
She's very nice. Very nice.
She's got a doggie that tours with her. We got
She's a sweetheart.
We got to meet the doggie and sit by her campfire. It was fun.
It was a lot of fun. So, and like we said, different artists have different rules and different things that they do. So some could be odd, but that's their way.
Yeah. And what was that one's? Phil Vassar. He's like my brother's friend. He's like the coolest guy that I've ever met. And he spilled a whole drink down the front of my shirt. And
he did that for a reason. They were having a wet t-shirt contest.
Yeah, so he was a little toasty. So he grabs this napkin and he starts wiping my shirt off. And my husband grabs the napkin and says, "I'll take care of that." It was funny.
That would be funny.
It was funny. We all laughed about it.
Aw. I miss those days, though. You miss those
fun.
days with them touring. And hopefully, come 2021, they're going to be able to start unrolling some of their tours again.
I sure hope so.
Here we go back to COVID, but I think it has just put a damper on so much.
Okay, so while we're on COVID, real quick.
I didn't want to open that door.
Well, we're just going to talk really quick. People, wear your masks, please. Trumbull and Mahoning County are back up to red. We really need for this to go away. And the only way it's going to is if you wear your masks. Okay. Off my soapbox. Off my soapbox.
Okay. Moving right along. So, speaking of masks, are you a risk taker? Do you take risks?
I do. Lots of them. I not with my health. I will jump out of an airplane. I will.
You're kidding.
No. I've parasailed over Lake Erie. That was a blast. I was there with my kids. We were on the beach, and these people with this jet ski and this parasail, and I'm watching it, and I'm thinking, wow, that looks fun. So I walked down the beach, and I'm talking to this guy that was the jet ski driver, who happened to be Jamaican, and they were in Ohio on vacation.
Why?
Why? Yeah, they live in paradise, and they come to Ohio for vacation. Crazy. But they offered me a ride. So, being the good mom that I am, I left my kids on the beach and went parasailing.
Oh, how neat is that?
It was fun. It was really fun. I would do it again.
For sure.
Yeah, it was really a really blast.
Yeah, I went when I was down St. Pete Beach on the Gulf. I went. It was. I loved it.
It is fun. I would do it again for sure. Yeah.
I don't know if I would jump out of a plane.
I don't know that I could do that.
But I liked parasailing. Or helicopter rides are fun.
Oh, helicopters are fun.
Yeah. I have not zip line yet, and I want to zip line.
I want to do it. Let's go to Las Vegas and do it.
Okay.
Nobody wanted to go.
I mean, we could go to like Hocking Hills and do it, But...
No, but I want to do it in Fremont Street Experience. They have a zip line that goes all the way through Fremont Street.
I'd like to zip line. Yeah, that'd be
fun. And all of those, the light show on the ceiling. I just think it would be the coolest thing, and nobody wanted to go with me.
Yeah, I'll go.
I don't know that I would. I don't know.
Oh, it's a
I don't know about
blast.
that.
You can
I like
Superman.
the rush. Yeah.
Yeah, you can either do it Superman laying on your stomach, or you can sit up and do it. Either way, so you could sit up. You could do that. It's easy. It's just like sitting on a chair, like a ski lift.
Sure, sure.
I want a Superman. If I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it. Did you ever ride the ride Superman?
No.
Where's
you?
that?
It used
Obviously
to be at
not, but no.
Geauga Lake, I believe is where Superman was. I rode it. It's very cool.
Yeah.
I rode it twice, as a matter of fact. I got
don't
off and
remember
got right
that
back on.
at Geauga Lake.
It was fun.
We used to go there every year.
We used to go
too.
Geauga Lake all the time until they took it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I loved Shamu. I missed that
Over
whale.
SeaWorld, yeah.
Yeah, SeaWorld was up there as
Yeah.
well.
What did I just see about SeaWorld? They had a baby something. A baby was born. And it was the first one in captivity in a long time. Whatever it was. I can't remember.
Is there still SeaWorlds?
Yeah, in
There's still-
Florida and California, I think.
That's the only places now.
Hmm. Well, here it was ridiculous. I mean, I don't know how they could ever make money because they're only open, 5 months out of the year instead of, in the warmer climates, they can be open all year.
Mm-hmm.
Well, until now.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's sad. You think of all the roller coasters and all the...
I know.
Like we had Idora Park here, and we had Geauga
Yep.
Lake,
Yeah.
and we had Seven Flags, didn't we? Close to
Six Flags.
Six
That was-
Flags.
That they changed.
Seven's flag was on my car.
I think they changed Geauga Lake's name to Six Flags.
Six Flags,
Six
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a Six Flags for a while.
I drove past. Oh gosh, when was it? It's probably almost 10 years ago. But when I used to work in Glen Willow, which is by Twinsburg and Aurora,
Mhm.
and I lived in Stowe and Canton, sometimes certain places I'd have to stop. I would, go through
Mhm.
Aurora, and like driving past Geauga Lake at night is
Scary.
like scary.
Is it really?
creepy.
It's
Yeah,
creepy.
yeah.
Yes. It's kind of like, almost like before they tore everything down at Idora Park, there was a
Yep.
spot in Mill Creek Park that you can pull in and still see,
Mhm.
the jackrabbit or whatever in the
Really?
background. And it's just, it's
eerie.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
eerie. It's
it's
not
just-
creepy, but it's
it's
sad, and it's a
sad.
little, like, yeah, but it just,
And it's so overgrown.
Yeah.
And just, it's such a waste.
And it's like you could feel the ghosts or the haunting chills or the people and the screams that used to
yeah,
ride,
yeah,
and hear the,
yeah.
and it's not there.
What was sad is the last time we went down to Cincinnati, my sister lives up in Westchester, which is right by the Kings Island area. And like to see that parking lot so empty and really not see
Oh, because of COVID?
yeah,
Yeah.
that was sad.
Yeah.
I mean, that place is packed all the time.
And that is probably one of my favorite parks because it's so clean.
Mhm.
The restrooms are always, it's like going to Disney almost.
Sure.
Yeah.
And they have so much vegetation. All of their topiaries and stuff are so well kept and everything. I love that place. I go there.
Yeah.
Not for a couple of years.
So, I mean, it eventually something will change. This is not, it's going to be around forever, but I believe with the scientists and everything that we have now, they will find a vaccine for this. It's just going
Right.
to take a while,
Right.
I mean,
And-
look where we've come from March and April to now.
Yeah.
It's not even a year. I mean, so it's,
But
I'm tired of it already.
Oh, well,
I got to
of
be
course.
honest with you.
everyone's tired of it.
but
But
it's part of our life right now.
it is.
And
It
for
is.
the future, they just have to find the vaccine
Yep.
and keep working on it.
Yep.
But I think scary times are coming because we're coming into cold and flu season.
Yep.
So now you have to be extra cautious.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. A friend of mine just went and got tested today because she has sinus thing going on. But the doctor said, just to be sure, go get a COVID test. And she called her work and told them that the doctor sent her for a COVID test. And they said, stay home. So,
She has it.
no.
No. Just
No.
for 14 days. It's
Well, she has to stay home until she gets a test result back.
really.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a smart thing. It's because they don't want to, make everybody else sick if she would have it. But they don't think she has it because she doesn't have. The only symptom she has is just stuffy, and I think it's probably a sinus infection, really. But
We can hope. We only hope.
Yeah, yeah.
Wish her
Yeah.
well.
For sure.
Mhm.
Absolutely
Yeah.
wish her well.
For sure.
So, speaking of staying home, when you're home, do you cook? Do you order out? What's your favorite foods?
Both.
Really?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, I love to cook, as we talked about earlier, you know, but there's always that day where you're like, you know, this place has a really good burger, or, you know, sometimes you just want someone, like, I love Mexican food, you know. You just want that certain,
Mhm.
like, tamales. I have to learn how to make tamales because I love tamales, but, you know, I haven't learned yet, so if I want a tamale, then yeah, you order out. But
Mhm.
most of the time, yeah, I cooking.
What's your favorite to make? Your favorite food ever to make? Like if you were going to bring a date over to the house and you were going to cook for him.
Mexican, something Mexican.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
And you're Italian.
No, I'm not.
You're not Italian?
No, Slovak and Croatian, 100%
I
hunky.
thought you had Italian in you somewhere.
No.
Okay.
100% hunky. That's the Croatian in me with the darker, you know, hair and eyes and skin. That's my dad's side.
Gotcha.
Yep. But yeah, I think I'm go to. I always joke around and say I got a little bit of, you know, Hispanic in me because I love to make different. I mean, anything.
Mm-hmm.
I've learned to make a lot of stuff, but I have to make tamales this winter.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
and it doesn't seem like they would be that hard. That
Well,
and
there's all
fresh
secrets.
mozzarella.
Everybody has secrets on how to make
I
their
want to
food.
make fresh mozzarella this year because I mean it's constantly in my refrigerator.
Mm-hmm.
But
My favorite is probably lasagna.
Yeah?
If
Pasta?
Yeah, I make good lasagna.
Mm-hmm.
Or like holiday dinners. Those are the things that I cook. But
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to cook a whole lasagna for one person is ridiculous. So
Right.
I do a lot of order out.
Is it cheaper?
If you stick to specials, yeah, it can be pretty cheap. But I don't care. If it's something that I want, I order it, you know. And when you're ordering for one person, it's not that expensive no matter what you order. You know, if I want a filet, I order a filet. But, you know, I don't plan ahead ever.
No?
I don't have any food in my house. I have cereal. I opened my bread the other morning and it was green, so my milk is in the trash.
Mhm.
So, you know, I'm not a good shopper. I went to the store last night and I got the stuff to bake cookies.
hey.
what kind of
But
cookies?
I'm making sugar cookies and I'm making M&M cookies.
Oh,
And this is
okay.
for the wedding.
This is for the wedding, yes. And I'm making the M&M cookies. Their colors are blue, so I'm putting blue M&Ms in the cookies, and I'm doing the sugar cookies with a blue tint to them too.
Aw.
That's nice. Yeah.
I used to bake a lot. I don't bake anymore.
I ordered a really pretty heart-shaped cookie cutter to use,
Oh, good.
so it'll be pretty. So, real quick, I want to tell you guys about this. This is an RFID case for my credit cards.
Yeah, because people like me lose their debit
Lose their
cards.
debit card, yes. So all of my cards are tucked neatly in here, and it keeps them from being able to be scanned by the criminals as they're, you know, stealing credit card numbers and stuff.
That is a really good idea.
It is, and I mean, it's small. It can fit in your pocket if you're, you know, if you're not carrying a
Do the
purse
van
with
away
you.
and show,
Yeah,
lift
well,
it
do the
up and
van
show
away.
them open.
Ooh,
You know.
see here, open it like this. All of them. It fits 12 cards, but I think I've got 14 in there, and that's why I break them. This is my third one, but
Oh my gosh.
but they're not expensive. They're pretty cheap, but it keeps everything organized, and you don't lose your cards.
Right.
I take my card out to pay for something, and I hand my card, or I use my card in the machine, and I keep this in my hand so that when I'm done, I just put it right back and snap it closed and put it away, and that way I don't lose them. So just a little tip
I
for the
lost
one who,
mine.
yes, I know, a number of times. Now I just need to find a place where you can put your cell phone that you don't lose that, and your car keys. We'll work on you.
I lose everything.
I know. If
do.
it's not attached, it's gone.
If it's not attached, it's gone. It's whoosh.
Yep, I know.
I've lost a debit card on the ground and somebody picked it up and got a nice tank of gas off of me. Oh yeah, wasn't happy about that.
Wow.
So that is probably a really good idea to get one of those.
Because this keeps you accountable by holding it in your hand instead of, because you know that it's not been put back. If it's still in your hand, you are like, well, where's my card?
Good idea.
Because I've walked away back before I had this. I walked away from the cashier and they still had my card. And, then the store closes and you need gas, and that's a problem.
How many times have you walked away from those little trays that they give you when you're dining and your debit card's there and you leave it on that tray?
No, I've never done that.
No,
I've done
I've
that.
never-
I left my whole purse in a restaurant once, and they closed before I realized the purse was there because I wasn't the one driving. And I had no idea that it was there until after the restaurant closed. I had left it hanging on the back of the chair. And
oh my gosh.
they put it in their safe. And I called the next morning and I'm like,
Nobody saw it.
no, they were super nice. They said, we put it in the safe for you. Nobody's touched it or anything. We didn't even know for sure whose it was. We figured somebody would be calling frantic. And I said, okay, I'll send my husband. And
You left your purse.
I left my purse, yeah. With everything that I owned.
Wow.
Even my phone was in it.
Oh my gosh.
Right? I was
Wow.
yeah. I was a basket case for a whole
Yeah.
night. It was bad.
I totally get that. So that kind of motivated you to get
Yes.
This stuff.
I've got all sorts of stuff that keeps me organized. I have a portfolio that I keep papers in that I need to keep safe and when I take them places, and I've got, you need one of those, by the way, a portfolio. And yeah, we're gonna hook you
she
up.
tells me that.
Yeah.
You need this. And
We're
you
gonna
need
hook
that.
you up.
Yeah. That's nice though. I'm gonna look on Amazon
Yeah.
for it. I mean, I lost my debit card when I was working because I was going in and out of stores.
Mhm.
So I would take it out of my wallet and put it in my little zipper pouch,
Right.
that I store extra cash or whatever. And or if I didn't put it back in there,
Mhm.
one time I actually put it in a bag and threw the
I
bag
do
out.
that too.
Oh gosh.
Like when you go to get your prescriptions, they'll put your
Yeah.
debit
Yeah.
card in your
I
bag.
mean, I
as you go
did.
through
I
the window.
did. Actually, no. It was over here. AC Beverage. Last stop of the day. Bought myself a bottle of wine, and I had my keys and they don't ID me.
Mhm.
Put my debit card in the bag. and
Because you're old enough.
yeah.
They knew her.
Well,
Because
because I was the sales rep at the time,
Mhm.
and threw the bag out, and I was looking for it for a few days. I'm like, where did I put it? And I'm like, I knew I threw it out.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and I think I lost it once before that, and I'm like, that's when I really started just using that little zipper pouch because it's kind of like what that was to me.
Right,
Right. Well,
When I used it, it would go right in there.
we're giving. Hey, have another one. We're giving our listeners a chance to win one of our glasses,
Mhm.
Pass the Glass. So
Yes.
people wonder what's behind Pass the Glass. Well, when each of us had something to say, we would pass the glass, and it was that person's chance to speak. So it's not like we're winos, almost. Anyway.
No, we only went through a
Exactly,
bottle and a
so-
half tonight.
If we have a topic that we start discussing, or maybe it's a topic that you have sent us to discuss, absolutely we call winner chicken dinner. So
Yes.
therefore, if you've got any suggestions on things that we need to talk about on the show as well, we would absolutely love any
We
of the
would.
suggestions.
Yeah, or even if you have a great comment, we're pretty free with the glasses.
We are with that too. So, but at this point, it's another wrap up. And we want to thank everybody once again for tuning in. We'll be back next Tuesday, same bat time, same bat place. You can find us here at Youngstown Studio.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you for listening to this show on Youngstown Studio. If you like our programming, we invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow our Facebook page, or subscribe to your favorite podcast platform like iTunes or Spotify. This is original Youngstown content, and we would appreciate you sharing the videos and the word about us. Thank you.